I'm going to have to show you something here.
Interesting, near the center of Hurricane Hermine, right before it made land.
Coast has scientists concerned tonight. Could something bigger be on the way?
CBS 13's Greg Liggins spoke to a professor at UC Davis to get some answers about what these small quakes really mean. Greg?
Yeah, Adrian, over the last few weeks, these small tremors have been reported along the west coast of Northern California up to Washington State. Scientists tell us it's due to a phenomenon called slow slip, and it's happening north of us out in the Pacific.
The Juan de Fuca plate is what it's called, nicknamed, is sliding under North America. And sometimes it's locked and sometimes it slips. But when it slips, it's building up stress elsewhere on the fault.
When that kind of stress builds up and is released, it can lead to so-called megaquakes, like the one that rocked Japan and caused a massive tsunami in 2011.
Welcome back to Above Ground World News. We got hacked today. Wow, what's wrong with my screen here? So we are going to try to get this to work. So I got hacked off of Twitter. If you get a private message on Twitter that says, hey, just for you, and it looks like a YouTube link, do not click it. It will completely take over all your emails and your accounts. And I just barely got this thing going. I mean, barely. But anyway, we are going right now. We're going to jump into the earthquake weapons, the weather warfare. Before we do, got a shout out there to High Impact Fix. He's gave us a shout out again. Much love to you, brother, man. You do good work. Thanks for helping get the word out. You know, we watch these mainstream, they're just little sock puppets reading their scripts while you have just regular people out here trying to dig up the truth, find the truth. And also out there in the chat for all the mods and the listeners out there, hey, we're not going to be talking about flat earth. We're not going to be talking about the shape of the earth or Planet X or anything political. You know, if you want to go run your mouth over on other channels that you got kicked out for talking about flat earth or something, man, so be it. We'll talk about political stuff over on DLIVE exclusively and all that. So, I mean, keep it on subject. Keep it clean, because there's people that listen to this show that are in their 90s. We have people that listen to this show that are, you know, under 10 years old. So we try to keep it clean. I know sometimes I'll cuss, but it's just because I get frustrated with what's going on and all that. But anyway, much love out there. Let's keep it going here. We're going to jump into this. Now, this was an older article, but a fleet of 150 cloud-seeding ships could stop global warming, says scientists. Remember this little clip here I'm getting ready to play? Well, maybe. See, everything is not running really good here. So.
The Navy Warfare Development Command tested a new anti-ship missile defense system June 21st through 25th. Pandora Fog consists of shipboard radar-absorbing carbon fiber clouds tested under a variety of at-sea conditions using assets from the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force. These man-made clouds are part of a layered defense and are capable of preventing a missile from detecting and striking its target.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, carbon fiber clouds. Now, for all the people that follow us, you know we show the actual bunker fuel being deployed from the ships. Here we are looking at today, and they're pretty much not out there. We spot a few of them, but let me show you yesterday. I mean, we're going to get into everything. We're going to get into earthquakes. We're going to get into weather, and we see one of the freakiest bunker fuel operations. If you don't know what we're looking at here, I'm going to put a little enhancer on here, and these lines right here, these are weather modification ships out here, and this is the toxic flume coming off the ship. They're running what is called bunker fuel. It's one of the most toxic emissions on the planet. You wonder why whales and dolphins are washing up. It's because of this stuff. This stuff is getting into the upper level winds, and then they're using it to seed these clouds. They're using it to melt the Arctic to get to the resources and put in the One World train. We just went over the train. They have dug a tunnel underneath the Bering Sea, and this tunnel goes 5 miles into Alaska, 5 miles into Russia. It's the One World train system. We're going to get back into that here in a couple days. Let me go back to June 4th. And we had a mass spraying operation out of these ships here, all enhance it. So you can see all these weather modification ships out here. There was tons of them out here. You can go back to July 3rd. Might take it a minute to load here, if it'll even load at all. But anyway, yeah, so we had this mass weather modification thing going on out here in the Pacific, and then we get on up into today, and they're just gone. There is none out here to be spotted. You know, and yesterday they were all leaving right here off the Aleutian Island chain. They're all right here. And today we just have the cloud seeding operations going on over here in Washington and Oregon. Let me let this load just a little bit. I had it semi-loaded here. I got to find the right layer. Oh, for one thing, I'm not on the right day. Okay, so here we go. Check out the spraying operation over here in Oregon. These are not water vapor clouds. These are weather engineering programs right here. I mean, this is going, it's been going on forever. I mean, we know they do use electric rainmaking enhancement, electromagnetics. They use the ionospheric heaters, the cloud ionizers, everything. All your weather is being completely fabricated. And we prove it on a nightly basis. We follow this. We can predict the weather better by the aerosols being deployed than any radar out here. Look at this super heavy spraying over San Francisco. And you'll notice when we go to look at the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur, it's all because of this. You know, they'll call it pollen and, you know, whatever they want. When we know better, we know what it is. We expose it. And thinking about that, look at these fires up here going on, and all these fires that are going on across the world, what they all have something in common. Before each fire, there's an aerosol program. They're deploying accelerants on these fires, turning them into mass fires, and they're getting ready to burn the West Coast. They've already gave out the warnings. Anyway, we'll get more into this weather stuff a little bit later here. Just wanted to get that out of the way. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here, everybody that helps us out there. Well, here we go, man. State of emergency declared after the 7.1 quake rocks Southern California. Massive aftershock shakedowns. So Governor Newsom declares the state of emergency. Now, there's some really strange things going on with this earthquake. And if you were with us last night, when it come out as a 7.2 on my earthquake app, and when we looked at it, it was a -0.9 depth, like it was up in the air. And there's some crazy stuff we're going to get into on this. Let me get a drink here. Kind of got a little bit of a chemtrail cough, the thunderstorm asthma. So we're trying to battle that on top of all this other stuff. Then we also have earthquakes being hidden and deleted. We've had a bunch of earthquakes that struck. There was 3 that were detected within minutes off the beach.
Get ready for an awesome Prime Day on July 15th and 16th with Twitch Prime. Sign up for Amazon Prime and unlock sweet gaming benefits like exclusive in-game loot, free games every month, and a free monthly Twitch channel subscription. Your Amazon Prime membership also includes access to Prime Video, Amazon Music, and free fast shipping. Unlock your Twitch Prime gaming benefits and gear up for an epic Prime Day celebration.
BBC coast prior or before the big quakes. So we do have seismic movement coming in. So let me get over here. This is pretty crazy right here. So Russia Chavez, U.S. was playing God by testing weapon that caused the quake. So you have the Russians or this is kind of an old article, but we've been, you know, they say that we're using quake weapons. And a lot of people will say the SBX-1. That thing is broke down. They don't need the SBX-1 now. All the ground-based radars have the frequencies to do it. Another strange thing about this quake, it killed the bees. Check out this. I gotta mute it there. But here is thousands of bees were vibrating on the floor, and then they died as the quake went off. Is that a sign of a earthquake or something else, like some low frequencies? A little bit more information. Dabu did a video, and I just seen this, and I was actually going to go look at these things, but with the hacking on my computer, I didn't have time, so we'll use a Dabu screen right here. So if you're looking at this top seismogram up here, this is a nuclear test signature on an earthquake. This one in the blue is an actual earthquake signature. And when I scroll this forward to the signature of the big quake, the one that registered above ground, I just had it. Okay, right here. Here we go. It's the same signature as an explosion. There is no buildup. Then the quake goes off and then it goes down. This is the same signature as an explosion. Now you can bet that they will be deleting any of this information, just like they did with all my videos on the mass methane leak. Now here's some more evidence that they deleted the earthquakes. Here's one that was registered at 2 a.m. 4.0. Let me go on down here. That one's been deleted. So they deleted a bunch of the quakes, and a lot of the quakes were above ground. I'm trying to find, I thought I had another thing there. Okay. Now they always delete stuff. Now last night, if you were with us, we went over this crazy methane leak that I was covering in 2016, and I went to go through my videos and I couldn't find them, but luckily Lee out here found all my videos. These don't show up in my video playlist, but all the links are in the description if you want to go back and look at this. Back in 2016, the whole West Coast. Let me see if I can click this here. Just to get the picture up of what happened. So back in 2016, there was this mass release. Let me get that to load there. I know the internet is sucking out here tonight. So there was a huge explosion of methane that come all the way out of the West Coast. You know, we had Metabunk hit trying to discredit us. We had it even got a response from NASA. The mainstream media was trying to attack us. And what they didn't know is after they did all their little, you know, trying to discredit our work, we actually found a completely different satellite, the European satellite. And after they got done trying to give a smear campaign, we said, hey, check this out. We have a whole nother satellite that showed the whole event. And we even did more research, and we found out that they actually, let me go back, I need to click this other link here. That this has actually happened before, and they did talk about it before, but NASA got rid of after I made the the video showing that they were lying, NASA took down the response. You know, the Metabunk, they didn't take down their response. They didn't go back, and Mick West here, he didn't go back and update the site that it did actually happen, even though people were getting sick, getting headaches, getting nauseated. So back in when was this? 2002. So the European Space Agency scanning imaging absorption spectrometer for atmospheric cartography instrument from 2002 to 2012, the atmospheric hotspot kept appearing. So there was a 22,500 square mile cloud of methane, roughly the size of Delaware, floating over the Four Corners region of Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. So this has happened before. Now, I don't know if this is a precursor for the quakes or anything like that, but what I'm mainly just trying to show you is how bad the mainstream lies. They lie about this. They go to any extent they can to lie about the truth. You know, they do not want to give you the truth, just like the flooding that's going on in Nebraska, Iowa, in 14 different states. You know, I did a video the other day. I drove up to Nebraska from Missouri and took a bunch of on-the-ground footage and uploaded it. All the houses were vacant. There was a section that I drove 35 miles that you couldn't get off or on an exit. Everything was closed. All these people are missing. And I'm like wanting somebody to email me and let me know, where are all these flooding victims? What are they doing? Where's FEMA? Where is the benefit? You know, Hollywood, where are they at? How come there's no funds being raised for all these displaced people? And I have not got one email yet. So we still don't know where these people are. We're going to have a mass, you know, food shortage and stuff. I got this article right here that'll tell you, you know, what kind of foods that you can store and what's going to be scarce. So this article is in the description if you want to check that out. Also, a little bit of other news before we get into the rest of the stuff here. High cholesterol does not cause heart disease. New research finds so treating with the simvastatins is a waste of time. Now, before I was awake, I was on one of these statins. I think it was called simvastatin. And the first thing I realized is I was losing my memory. So these things are really bad for you, and they don't work. They just mask the problems. All you have to do is eat right, stay away from the GMO foods, stay away from all the toxic stuff, man. Try to stay healthy. There's a bunch of weird stuff going down in Australia, man. They're wiping out the forest down here. They're they're deforesting the forest. And it's just crazy what's going on down there. I had a few articles, but like I said, the hack there has got everything messed up. I'm just kind of going on the fly right now. We had a gaping sinkhole closes Missouri highway. We got hit with 2 more rain bombs just a couple days ago. We have major flooding still. Thousands of farms are still underwater. Roads are inaccessible. Let's check this out. Hopefully I get the sound paused in time. Is it even going to work? Nice crowd out there. Much love out there. Thanks for joining us. On Sundays, we do a 16-day forecast. Don't miss that. You'll get a 2-week warning ahead of any mainstream. Well, anyway, I guess that's not going to load. But, yeah, we've got several roads that are just completely washed out. My wife and I were trying to go up to town to get some supplies, and this rain bomb hit us, and every road just turned into a instant river. I mean, we were lucky to get out of there. And this is just mega flooding in Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. And no mainstream's hardly talking about it at all. While that's going on, you got Alaska hitting 90-degree temperatures. The highest temperatures they ever had. And this is all from what I showed you earlier, these ship tracks, the bunker fuel. You know, they're creating a blanket of synthetic clouds. Now, you don't put a blanket on to get cooled down. You put a blanket on to trap the heat in. So they're definitely melting the Arctic.
Rise to greatness.
and we just showed you how they're doing it. We've also had a pipeline explode in West Virginia. The Trans-Canada natural gas pipeline exploded early Thursday in a remote Nixon Ridge area of Marshall County, West Virginia. Let's check this out, see what it looks like here. Hey, thanks out there, Rage Against Rusty Cage. Everybody out there that helps us out on the Super Chat, the PayPals and all that. Much love. Fed Up out there. Definitely helps keep this operation going. So yeah, Mega Fire out here. All right, let's see what else do we got. We have another company, weathermodification.com projects. Now this reminds, I talk a lot about Miles Research and David Miles, and he sent me a tweet today. And if you guys go to tweet Miles, I don't want anybody to attack people, it's attack the ideas. So he was a little disturbed with some of the things I've been saying about him, and hopefully I'll get him on the show and we'll hear his side of the story. So no need to get hostile towards these people, because that's not going to fix anything. We have to get a solution to the problems, and you can't do that fighting about it. So anyway, the proven success of weather modification incorporated in atmospheric and weather operations is evident by our lengthy and impressive client listing speaks for itself. And this link is down there in the description. Hey, thanks out there, Jonathan. You have the Cloud Seeding Project, Province of Mendoza. I mean, you can check right here and see all the places that they've done weather modifications. And look at all the ones they've done in the United States. CloudSat Validation Experiment, Delaware Department of Agriculture, Cloud Seeding Program, Edwards Aquifer Authority, Naval Surface Warfare Center. I mean, it just goes on and on. Wyoming Weather Modification Pilot Program. You can get your chemtrail license at the Texas DMV. Look it up. Texas Weather Modification Program. Upper American River Cloud Seeding Project. So this stuff is going on, and then in the meantime you have crawling robots on the brain. Researchers unleash millions of microbots from one silicon chip. This is going into the nanotechnology, which we're going to get into this at a later date. Let me go ahead and bring something up. Let's go over to Jim Lee's Climate Viewer. Let me type this in, Climate Viewer 3D. There's a lot of new people out there, so I want to show you some of the weapons that they could use to create earthquakes. Alright, so I'm going to post this into chat here. That way if you guys want to check this out, the new people or whatever, this is a cool site here. I mean, I can't even go over everything this thing does, but for right now, I'm going to change this to something I can see a little better. Alright, so you get over here to Climate Viewer 3D. You can go to Pollution and Privacy. Now you can click the atmospheric sensors and EMF sites. You click on that. We're going to put the ionospheric heaters worldwide on. And this is going to load all this stuff up on the map. We're going to put the HARP on there. We don't need the missile defense. We don't need the Russian woodpecker. We don't need the Antarctic stuff. We do need the digisounds. Don't need to put on the directed, we might as well put them on. Let's put on the directed energy, lasers, particle colliders, and gravitational wave detectors. Let's put on the extremely low frequency, the ELF, ULF, and VLF transmission sites. These are what can create some earthquakes. We could also put on, I'm just kind of looking here, I don't want to put too much stuff on here, but we'll put on the super dual auroras and the large arrays, the low frequencies, and the very long base arrays. Okay, so we just added just a few weather modification things on this map. And everything, this is pretty crazy, man. People don't realize, everybody talks about the Hart facility up here. This is just one little piece of the puzzle. You go right up here in the north, and you have a huge scatter radar up here, the Bay Observatory, the Polar Cap Observatory. This is a phased array. So anything you click in the red, that's the ionospheric heaters, just like the Hart. You got a big one down here in Peru. And I like to show these because they have these things tucked away down here in the mountains. I mean, these are huge antenna arrays. This is a incoherent scatter radar, 4.5 megawatts, running at 49.92 megahertz. I mean, they're everywhere. So these are just some of the small things that they can use. You got Arecibo over here. This is one you see in all the James Bond movies. This thing is like the size of a city. Let me zoom in on this sucker. Now they're going to put a new ionospheric heater in the center of this dish. So this is Arecibo. 6 cross dipoles. It's a 98 meter Cassegrain screen running at frequencies of 5.1 through 8.175 megahertz, 600,000 watts, 200 megawatts. Now they're building one that's gonna just be crazy powerful, called the Xcape. It's going on over here. This thing is going to be 1,000,000 times more powerful than HARP. Like, HARP is pretty much obsolete, man. The next rads do all the same thing. For some reason, I'm having a hard time remembering where it is. Oh, it's up here. Okay, no wonder. So the Xcape. That's Tromsø, Norway. Let me try to get to the Xcape. This is Tromsø ionospheric heater. See, most people don't even know about all these. They're everywhere. They're on every continent. Yeah, this is a huge one. Look at that. But I want to get to the Xcape here if I can. Okay, so this is going to be the Xcape. It's going to be 100 gigawatts. I mean, that is just insane. That's going to be able to move the jet stream wherever they want with ease. You know, right now what they do is they use the ground-based radars to target the high-pressure systems. They break off a little chunk of it, create a low-pressure system, then they cloud seed it. Now, the way the HARPs work, they basically send out high frequencies from all these ionospheric heaters. They turn the ionosphere into a plasma antenna. Then they can bounce them off all these VLF transmitters, all these digisons, and pretty much do whatever they want. We know there's constantly ship operation out here, the bunker fuel being deployed. David Miles, the Miles Research Company, the guy that emailed me today, he's down here in Australia. He's done tons of programs down there. He ended the fires in Tasmania back in February. They could have put the fires out in California, but they didn't. They didn't do it. They wanted it to burn. And yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. Your weather is not what you think. It's all being manufactured, manipulated. You know, you got to wonder, man, with all the fracking going on, what are they doing? Anyway, let's try to get into a little bit of earthquake stuff here. I'm going to have to blink the screen over. Now, it's going to play that video, but then I'll stop the video and bring in the earthquake 3D. We'll check it real quick. So here we go. Let me switch scenes here.
Coast has scientists concerned tonight. Could something bigger be on the way?
CBS 13's Greg Liggins spoke to a professor at UC Davis to get some answers about what these small quakes really mean. Greg.
Yeah, Adrian, over the last few weeks, these small tremors have been reported along the west coast of Northern California up to Washington State.
Welcome to car buying on your terms. Welcome to having fun again. Introducing Choose Click Cruise, part of the Montrose Promise from Mazda Cleveland. You're used to the speed and convenience of online shopping, so why should car buying be any different? At Montrose Mazda Cleveland, it's not. Just visit montrosemazda.com, choose the car you want, and structure your deal with a few clicks. Then come in, take delivery at our express checkout, and cruise on home. We promise it's that simple. Get started at montrosemazda.com and choose Click Cruise today.
Scientists tell us it's due to a phenomenon called slow slip, and it's happening north of us out in the Pacific.
Juan de Fuca plate is what it's called, nicknamed, is sliding under North America. And sometimes it's locked and sometimes it slips, but when it slips, it's building up stress elsewhere on the fault.
When that kind of stress builds up and is released, it can lead to so-called megaquakes, like the one that rocked Japan and caused a massive tsunami in 2011. UC Davis.
All right, there we go. I got it up there. All right, so let's get this thing going. Look at the, if you don't know what we're looking at, this is Earthquake 3D, and this is going to give us a good idea of what's going on. But look at all the quakes centered over California. I mean, this is just insane. This is just the last, half a day. If I move this on up to 1 day worth of quakes, look at the stack of earthquakes. I mean, this is completely insane. I'm trying to get that where you guys can actually see all these quakes. I mean, it's just off the chart. Like, I can't even scroll out far enough to let you guys see it. All right, so let me turn the magnitudes down just so I can get some of these quakes down off here. So it looks like you can trace all this back. If you don't watch Dust Sense, he does the earthquake predictions, and he's pretty damn accurate. I know I watch him when I want earthquake info, but I definitely like checking this stuff out. And so what we need to watch now, look, we are already getting 3.2 size earthquakes over here in the fracking area. The new Madrid is not even like the new Madrid anymore, because they fracked the crap out of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and now there's a new weak point. So they are, actually slowing some of the seismic pressure that's coming across, and keeping the new Madrid from going off. But when it does go off, it probably will be huge. But I want to get this on certain size here. So what you're going to see now that we've had, all these bigger quakes, that they've actually hit a couple of them here off the coast of British Columbia, some of that seismic pressure has gone down. We had the big quakes here in California. Now they're going to start tracking towards the east. So we should get some small quakes around the New Madrid that could go up towards Tennessee and then all the way up into Maine. But the spot to watch right now is in between. Let me see if I can get this on the bigger quakes, and then we'll add a few in here. So what we need to watch is in between the halfway point, because them usually get hit, and they're pretty much close to the same exact size. You can see right here, you've had these are like 5.8s, almost 6s, and they deleted the one that was right there. It's not on there. Let me take it back, see if it shows up. So usually the in-betweens are going to get hit next. So we're looking at like pretty much right there at the border of California and Oregon. So the quakes are just off the chart right now. Let's go ahead and jump over to the USGS and take a look. And let me make sure I change scenes again. Last night I forgot to change the scenes, and nobody knew what the heck I was talking about. Now I like this on this view. And then we're going to put this sucker on 1 day, all magnitudes. And then we're going to just take a look. Excuse me there. Sorry about that. Man, can we hit 1,000? We've been at 997 before. On my screen, we're at 992. We should be able to easily get 1,000 in here. We're at 998. 2 more people. Yeah, I mean, I go to Dutch Sense for all my earthquake stuff, but I love covering this stuff too. I like to look what's going on. Plus, when you have quakes that are above ground, something is not right. Oh, you guys got 1,005. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Much love out there. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending an hour with us. I know a lot of people don't like to watch an hour-long video, but we smash as much information as we possibly can in 1 hour. And I mean, there's so much news you can't even cover it all. Look at this swarm. Now this thing could be going on forever. And then you have to wonder, I mean, you look at the military base right there, it looks like a, you know, the Masonic symbol. Pretty odd shape. So it definitely looks like the Freemason symbol. And then you got to also wonder how many underground bunkers are over here. You know, you got weapons testing facilities out here. This is basically a volcanic field. And I showed you guys yesterday about all the magma, man. You got a super volcano worth of magma less than 100 miles north, right up here. So hopefully the halfway point isn't around this volcano. So yeah, you got this super volcano right here. And they just found out it has a huge magma underneath here. I think it was, I can't remember. We talked about it last night. 250,000 miles or 250 miles worth or something. It was some big amount. So yeah, that's an insane swarm. So anyway, heads up for everybody on the West Coast, because there should be another earthquake in between the 2 bigger 6 quakes. It could happen anywhere in the Cascadia or anywhere out here. Thanks out there, Car Dog and Bamboo out there. Much love. So yeah, man, heads up on the West Coast. That, you know, when the mainstream's talking about this, there's got to be, they're trying to divert our attention from something else. But anyway, we'll be keeping our eyes on this thing. So heads up, it's going to probably be rocking and rolling for quite a while over here. Look, you got a pretty good swarm. Now that I back that out, going right down the fault zone right there. So we got several swarms going now. All right, so heads up. Let's go ahead and try to jump into a little bit of weather. I know we do the 16-day forecast tomorrow. We've had a tornado earlier in Pennsylvania. So check that out on the ground. All right, so let's get out of that. We'll check. Let me go ahead and close that up. And let's bring in some weather apps in here. Yeah, we definitely need some more likes out there. We're a little bit shy there on the likes. That's what gets the word out. YouTube hides this channel like you don't even know. But yeah, it's nice to see a good crowd out there. Let me go ahead and let's put this on the composite radar and check the watches and warnings. Let me get this on 200 frames. Then we'll go ahead and add on the watches and warnings. Yeah, if you haven't watched the 16-day forecast, you definitely need to join us tomorrow. And like I said, you'll get a much earlier warning of any of the crazy weather coming. And we're pretty damn accurate. We're way more accurate than the mainstream, that's for damn sure. So look at all the flood warnings still going on. And I still want to know where all the farmers are. Where's everybody, you know, North Missouri up I-29? Where are you? Send me an email. Let me know, is FEMA helping you out, or like, are you staying at a friend's house? I mean, where are all the people that are missing? That's a big question of mine that I'd like to get answered. I mean, we could call the emergency management. They're not going to give us any information. So it looks like we've had quite a few tornado warnings going. So them are a little bit earlier today. So I'm watching up there in the Northeast. I mean, all these rainstorms we predicted 2 weeks ago, they're all hitting the exact.
Oh man, I don't want this boring food. I want something with co-branded flavor.
Howdy, dudes.
Colonel Chester!
Did someone say KFC Cheetos co-branded chicken sandwich?
Is that a KFC chicken sandwich with Cheeto sauce and also actual Cheetos on it?
It's like 2 logos in every bite.
Cheesy!
Crispy!
Limited time only!
Colonel Chester, you saved us!
That's one finger-licking good product partnership. Try KFC's new Cheeto sandwich.
Wow!
Targets. We told you, you know, the East Coast, Southern East, you guys are getting ready to get hit by a few rain bombs. And I'm really looking for something over here. All right, yeah, we'll get into some of this later. So let me go ahead and put this on the Cirrus layer, because I got to show you something. Get the watches and warnings off. All right, while that is loading. Now, we just, earlier in the show, we showed you the bunker fuel. The ships are not out there. I want to show you guys some spraying operations going on right now over San Francisco, Santa Rosa, Santa Cruz. Now, what you're seeing, these lines, these are not water vapor like you've been told. That's a disinformation. These are all nanoparticulates. I mean, look at these. These are grids. You know, they want to tell you that these are water vapor. And even if some of these planes are not the spraying planes, it's the exhaust. They make different mixes for the exhaust to create synthetic clouds. Here, you can hear it right from NASA. Here, I got a clip of NASA right here telling you what's going on with these guys.
So you just mentioned contrails. So how do the contrails affect or have an impact on the climate?
Right. Well, contrails have a huge impact on climate. And so, in fact, some of the recent modeling work that has come out of DLR suggests that contrails today, just the ones that we're able to see up in the sky, maybe today, this week, this month, have a larger impact on Earth's climate than all of the carbon dioxide emitted by aircraft since the first powered airplane flight. So that's a huge effect. And so even as CO2 accumulates, greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, the impact of these contrails trapping heat and reflecting sunlight back into space is having a huge effect on the Earth's energy balance. And so
that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they're dumping more particles this week than all of the aviation since the very first plane. That's why our skies are so toxic. That's why we're all have a chest infection. That's why we're all sick. That's why all the plants and the trees and the bugs are dying. Let's get into this a little bit deeper. All right, guys, so there you go. There's NASA admitting that they're creating the climate change. They're trapping the heat in. You know, they're changing the Earth's energy balance. Now, we have tons of companies across the world that are engineering their weather. You got tons of companies over in the Middle East. We cover them almost nightly. We're not going to cover them tonight. But yeah, man, this stuff is going on worldwide. And when you're affecting something on one side of the planet, it affects everything. We're going to get into the jet stream winds. We're going to check a bunch of different things here. So we have Tropical Storm Cosme and Investo2. That's remnants of Barbara. We were the only channel that said that Hurricane Barbara was not going to come even close to Hawaii. It was going to get tore up by the dust that was coming off the Saharas, and that's exactly what happened. Why all the other mainstream were hyping that storm up, and you know, even the YouTube meteorologists were hyping that thing up, you know, saying it was going to be a historical event for Hawaii, and we knew. So everybody in Hawaii didn't have to panic because they got the truth right here. We're going to check the mimic map real quick here. And then we're going to go ahead and check the air qualities and all that stuff. I mean, if you guys have been in the show before, we're going to cover a lot of stuff here. Now, what we're looking at right here, this is the mimic. This is the morphed microwave imagery. Now, a lot of times we can spot when they're actually steering these rivers. These are rivers up in the troposphere. You know, just like man steers the rivers on the ground by building dams and levees. Well, for quite a while, since the 90s at least, they have been steering the atmospheric rivers in the sky. And what we do, we knew there was there's somebody shooting fireworks down the road here. We know there was a mission to put the fires out down in Tasmania using electromagnetics, the Miles Research Company. They put the fires out, and we watched the signatures of this. We watched the clouds. We watched everything, and we can spot when they're affecting this, just like they're affecting this atmospheric river right here over the Pacific where all the ships have been. Now they're heating the north up here. They're trying to get to the resources. They're trying to break the ice up. And, you know, just like the Paradise Fires, this atmospheric river used to go right up into the Aleutian Island chain for years. And as soon as the fires were over, this whole thing gets pulled perfectly right at the border of California and Oregon. And they tried to wash away the evidence. They did wash away the evidence. In fact, we're still dealing with the problems today. Now, this is the weather change I told you about a few weeks ago, how the patterns have changed. And we're going to go check the jet stream winds to see what's going on with them. All right. So let me get this. First thing I want to look at is the polar vortex winds. The winds way up. So I just want to check this real quick so everything's fine there. Now this is a pretty good anomaly going across the equator. But all right, let's go ahead and check the jet stream. And what's been happening with all this flooding, they have pushed the jet stream up and over the United States. There has not been a jet stream over the United States for at least 2 months. Actually more like 3 months. So right now you have the weather modification ships out here, and what they're doing is they're splitting this thing up. Like I told you, they were targeting the high pressures and they split them off. But you can see right here, there is no ridges or troughs or anything. Hey, thanks sir, Michelle, much love out there. But yeah, there's no ridges, no troughs. Everything is all screwed up with the jet stream. It's bypassing the whole United States. Let's go down to the scalar field, the vortice level. Nothing. Nothing, man. It's just crazy what they've done to this thing. I mean, look, here's a jet stream with the ridges and troughs, and, you know, it's supposed to be real wavy. What we're looking at, that's not what we're looking at. It's all messed up. We go ahead and check the temperatures. I mean, they have, you know, super hot air. Let me put it right here at 1,000. So here's our temperatures. Let's check the 3-hour precipitation forecast. So it looks like we're going to get another rain bomb here in the Midwest. I want to check the sea level pressures. So right there, there's the two high pressures, or low pressures that they split off. That should have been a high pressure out there. Let me back that up. And we can follow these ship operations and see what they're doing. Let me get that back on now. Hang on here, guys. I got a cough. All right, got muted out. All right, let's go ahead and check the ocean and see what's going on with the ocean. No big waves. A few big waves down south, but nothing to put any alerts out. Let's go ahead and check the sea surface temperatures. I mean, all since January, maybe before January, the mainstream media kept saying there's going to be an El Nino. And there was never no El Nino. But let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. Now, El Nino would be super hot right here at the equator. We can go back and show you one. The last one we had was like in 2016. Now, there's a real weak El Nino. That's what it should look like. Let me take it back to now. Well, they gave up on the El Nino. I mean, actually, the water is like really cool at the equator, but where's all the heat? All the heat is up here. You know, and I've been wondering, is there volcanic activity going on under the ocean up here? You know, they're trying to melt up here. They're putting in an underground railway up here, which I've talked about many a times. And I think that's why, that's one of the reasons that they're heating it up there.
If the Umbrella Academy made a phone plan, number 5 could roam for no extra charge here. And here. And, ooh, even here. Roam for the same price as home with Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
So here we are looking at the carbon monoxide. This is all at the surface. I showed you the fires earlier on the world view map up here in Canada. Mega fires up in Alaska. Mega fires. Russia is on fire. And then we got this. This is from the chemtrails. This is from methane leaking up out of the ground. I mean, you got tar leaking out of the sidewalks coming up on the ground. The East Coast is always pretty high. Let's check the carbon dioxide. It's really high up where the fires are, but there's no fires going on here in California. They're just getting inundated with horrible air quality. But at least today I cannot call them the highest amount of carbon dioxide on the planet. Normally they are. Now here we are looking at the sulfur dioxide map, and you see these long straight lines. These are the shipping lanes. These are the residue from the ships, the cargo ships, the cruise liners, and they're all over the planet. And what's happening is all these ships are leaving these heavy metals. You know, these aren't the ones deploying the bunker fuel, but they are definitely leaving their signature in the sky. And all these lines out here is the sulfur dioxide coming off these shipping lanes. Well, that's making all our storms more electric. That's why we're seeing more and more people and animals being killed by lightning, because all the heavy metals are up in the stratosphere, and they're making the storms way worse. Hey, thanks there, Rhonda. Just more evidence of them manipulating our skies, our clouds. They've ripped our clouds off. We got another batch of Sahara dust coming our way. Let's fast forward this. Look at this flume of dust. This is what took out the Hurricane Barbara. And I'm pretty sure I was the only channel on the internet that said that was going to happen. And, you know, with these things going on, this is not going to let any hurricanes develop. It's too much particles. They just won't develop with that much sand and dust and grit in the air. So anyway, second wave of bad air. When I put this on the PM 2.5s, this is a carcinogen. If you go on Wikipedia and look up particulates, PM 2.5s, PM1s, PM10s, these are nanoparticles. These are considered a carcinogen. So you can see up here where the fires are just how bad it is. You know, usually you don't see these unless there's an earthquake or the bad Sahara dust. I mean, all this is the dust from the last wave of dust that blew over. Let's fast forward to see what it looks like. Hey, thanks there. Real good, Tim. Man, probably. That stack of earthquakes was nuts. So yeah, all this, I can actually back this up and you can see where all this stuff come from. Let me back this up and you'll see this all come from the Sahara Desert. You know, what's in this sand and dust? Is there, you know, ancient viruses in here? You know, some kind of plagues in that sand? Who knows, man? You know, that's the things that the mainstream won't talk about. Here's our Hurricane Barbara that was going on. And you'll see when I back this all the way up how it gets wrapped up in this dust. And then it disintegrates the hurricane. So we've been getting inundated. That's why my lungs are all congested. It's from all the Sahara dust that has blown over 5,000 miles. And now it's all over the United States. And that's all fabricated, all engineered. We covered earlier in the year where we've seen them do it. They blew this dust right up over the UK and created blood rain. They had blood fog. I mean, people were getting chest infections and all that stuff. So anyway, let's get over here to this thing. Let me close that down so we're not using them resources. And I'm going to enhance this up so you guys can see this a lot better. And what you'll find is if you come over here to the GO 17, this is the College of Debris. The link should be down in the description. Now I'm going to go zoom in where I showed you on the worldview map how they were aerosoling the sky over here in Oregon, Washington. Now what we're looking at right here, the lighter color gray, if you guys can see this, that's from the bunker fuel. That's from the ships that were out there yesterday, the day before that. And then we're going to watch them add the chemtrails. It's a two-part mix. And then you use the ground-based radars to steer this stuff. And I'm not making this up, man. This is all facts. This is all could be proven. So you can see the lines over here. They're spraying above the clouds. So this is some high spraying planes. But look right here. Look here at the border of California, Nevada. We're going to zoom on that a little bit more so you can see that, because that is a mass operation. You got planes up here. Yeah, let me go down just a little bit so we can square that up just a little bit better. I mean, this stuff is disgusting. See, what really got me aware to this is not only did wow, look at that line right there. That's pretty weird. But I'm real sensitive to this. I get bad headaches when they're dropping this bunker fuel, when they're dropping the aerosols. I get mass migraines from this stuff. I'm really sensitive to it. And it took me a long time to figure out what was causing it. And it's this stuff. It's the nanoparticulates. So wow, yeah, them are mass spraying operations. I'm going to zoom in even one more time on that just so you guys can see it, because I don't think you're going to be able to see it that good unless I really zoom in. Yeah, try not to use no F-bombs out there. I stated all that at the beginning. Try to keep it clean. We got a lot of young and really old people that listen and watch this show, so we try to keep it clean. I mean, I get mad too, and I do cuss once in a while, but I cuss like a sailor when I'm not online. So here we are. Here's a mass spraying operation. You can see that they were targeted sprays. They're all the same length. These are not water vapor. These are to control the weather. I mean, they could be multi-purpose. We've seen tons of lithium being released. We've seen vaccines being released down in Australia from these chemtrails. So look at that. They just kept targeting the same areas, and I hope you guys can see that clear enough. So man, major spraying operation. Hey, there's the same symbol that's where the Air Force is that got hit with the earthquake. We go ahead and change that and turn that off. All right, so there we go. So now you can see them in the dark blue, dark purple lines. That's the aerosols being deployed by the planes. And it's kind of sticking on me here. So you can actually see the bunker fuel being deployed with this map right here. Anyway, guys, we're gonna let that run. We're gonna call this a show. Want to thank High Impact Flicks out there, High Impact Blogs. Much love. Thanks for sending some people our way. You always got good listeners out there. Much love. We're gonna play a couple songs to end this with. I'm gonna come join you in chat, and much love out there. If you don't like rock and roll, turn it down. If you do, crank it up. We're gonna play a song called Rise, because we're all gonna have to rise. Then we're going to play our fighting song, and then we're going to play our victory song. But anyway, guys, much love. Thanks, everybody out there on Twitch, DLive, Facebook, and all that. Links are all in the description. Much love, guys. Be safe out there. God bless. Here we go. Let's rise.
Ever hear about the time Big Jim went head-to-head with a tornado?
Hey, thanks, Big Jim.
Got you covered.
What are we supposed to do with this?
Great Big Jim.